Hey there everybody, it's Mark Crilley. I'm back with another video. Sorry it's been so long since my last video. The month of May is kind of crazy over here in the Crilley household, but now we're getting back into it, and today we're going to be learning about creating the illusion of a weathered surface using really 5 different materials. I'm going to start with marker. We're going to move on to pastel. I'm going to add watercolor, colored pencil, and then finally my beloved white gouache. And because you're going to see all 5 stages, it should all be a nice little comparison at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first part real time. I'm going to hopefully be able to do all of them real time. Marker for me is the most naturally smooth of the different media that I'm using today. And so I'm starting with that, creating a sort of a base surface that has almost no texture to it. Nevertheless, you can see that I'm trying to follow along with that surface, having all of the strokes of the marker line up, parallel to the direction of that surface, so that if there are any streaks remaining, they're kind of cooperating with that surface to convey that illusion. Now you might notice that I'm slowing down a little here, and by slowing down, more of the ink is loading into the paper and making this section just a tiny bit darker. And that is quite deliberate. I'm wanting to have the illusion of shadow in this one area. And if I can, it would be nice if I can get it even darker in this other area. I think what I might do is flip around to the other side and see if going super slow here might help make this the darkest of all. Either way, just differentiating between the upper surface and the side is not a bad idea for creating the illusion of three-dimensionality. And that is basically all I'm going to be doing for this first one. Keeping it simple, keeping it smooth. But in time-lapse, I'm going to apply this exact same approach to these remaining 4 kind of tiles, and that will allow us to move on to tile number 2, in which I'll be adding the pastel. But for now, let's go ahead and kick it into time-lapse. I'm going to use marker on all of the 4 remaining tiles. Alright, so we've got marker, we've got a base layer of marker on all 5 of the tiles. We're going to set the marker aside, and I think you'll agree that it's really quite smooth and even a little flat looking, apart from these darker tones which help to give it a little bit of three-dimensionality. Now I'm pulling out this dry pastel, sort of chalky type of pastel, and it's just a slightly different shade of green. And this is going to be, just a little step in the direction of starting to make this look like a more solid surface. And I may even have to run and grab a darker pastel to complete the effect that I'm going for here, because it's really quite subtle at this stage. But one thing that I've found is that when you have one single color in an area, it tends to look flat. Whereas if you can vary the color a bit from one area to another within this same the section that you're coloring in, it will start to make it look like a more solid surface. Right now it's a very subtle difference, and so I do think what I'm going to do, hang on a second, I'm going to grab a slightly darker green so as to make this a little easier to see. Okay, so I've grabbed a slightly darker green here, and here's a little trick for you. When you're trying to go subtle, instead of using the chalk straight onto the paper, I'm just rubbing the tip of my finger on it and applying bits of it that way. This keeps it very, very subtle. Now, of course, I could be going in here with any number of different colors, like blue or red or whatever, and in a way the more colors you add, again, the more sort of solid the surface will appear. But I think my goal with this one is to stick mainly with this sort of greenish yellow color, and keep our eyes focused on the effects of adding weathering, decay, and so forth. So here I think, yeah, we're getting a little more, hopefully it's showing up a little more. It's quite a subtle little difference. And here maybe on the side I might go ahead and apply it just directly to the paper, see if I can get away with that. But you can see just by having slight variations in the surface color that it already starts to look just a tiny bit more solid than it does over here, where to me I'm very aware of the marker, the very flat kind of marker coloring. So anyway, all of these different techniques that I'm showing you I'm using real old-fashioned materials like pastel and so forth, but you could emulate these effects for sure digitally. Those of you who work digitally, just try to apply maybe on another layer a slightly different color and see if it doesn't help you achieve the effect that I've got going here. All right, well, like I did before, I'm going to go ahead and in time-lapse, I'm going to apply the pastel to these remaining 3. We'll get all of those the same, and then we can move on to the next step. All right, so there you see all of these 4 panels or tiles looking roughly the same. And that's quite a subtle change between those two. Now we're going to go for something that's a little more drastic. I'm using watercolor, and what I want to do is to create like areas of where the paint has chipped away to reveal a sort of darker surface underneath. And you can probably see, even as I'm beginning to add this, that watercolor has a tendency to kind of pool up and not be super even. Unlike the marker, which I think tends to give you a more even color. And that's why I'm sort of like using each one of these materials to do what they naturally do best. The pastel does a nice smoky kind of gradual gradation of color. And so that was the natural thing to do with that. With this, I think the watercolor, I'm taking advantage of the watercolor's tendency to dry in a slightly uneven way. Very often the edge will be slightly darker than the interior. That's a sort of a hallmark of watercolor, the way it dries. And so yeah, each material that I choose, there's a reasoning behind it. Now the order in which I've done this is not something that you have to follow. You could add that pastel later on. I think, to get that flat base color, I do think marker is the way to go. Some people are more skilled with watercolor and they can get a very smooth, flat look with watercolor. And hats off to you if you are able to do that. I'm not so good at it, so I'm sort of deliberately letting this be sort of mottled and not super smooth here, because that's kind of what tends to happen with me in watercolor anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and apply this sort of decayed looking surface to the remaining 2 tiles. Do that all in time lapse, and then we'll be back to see what happens when we bring in some colored pencil. Okay, so you can see what the watercolor brings to it, really more of a drastic change there. You get that sense of it being much more weathered. But now we are going to bring in some colored pencil, and colored pencil is really going to allow us to start adding an illusion of light and shadow. Now you see me going in here to the sort of left edge of each one of these watercolor splotches and darkening it in with a kind of a gray colored pencil. Time to get a new one, it would seem. It's so small, but I never throw them away. I have to use them all the way to the end. Get my money's worth out of them. But you can see by adding a little bit of darkness over here on the left side of each one of these things, it begins to kind of trick your eye a little bit that light is falling across the surface, and wherever that light can't reach, you get a little bit of shadow forming. And to make it even more pronounced, I'm going to switch now to a black colored pencil, which allows me to darken it up maybe in a more linear way, just at the very edges of these things. And yeah, that gives you some sense of how what colored pencils can bring to this surface in terms of making it look increasingly weathered, decayed, like the paint is chipping off, that kind of a thing. So yeah, that basically covers what we're going to be doing with the colored pencils. I'm going to apply that to this one remaining one, and then finally we're going to be down to that last fifth stage, in which I'm going to use my beloved white gouache to complete this illusion of light and shadow. All right, so we've got the colored pencil sort of working its magic on these last couple of tiles, and now it is time to bring out the beloved white gouache, which is an opaque white paint. And just as we had applied black with the colored pencil to the left side, we're going to apply the white over here on the right-hand side. And pretty quickly you're going to see that we get a nice little illusion of light hitting that other edge of each one of these little decayed, paint chipped sections of the tile, and those two things together, the black on the left side and the white on the right side, really do help to kind of fool your eye into thinking that you're looking at a real solid surface that has decayed kind of imperfections all across. And again, you don't have to necessarily go out and buy white gouache and all these different materials. These effects can be replicated digitally, just following along with the concept of black lines or black shadows over on the left, and then the glints of light over here on the white. And this time, because this is the last one, I'm not going to be applying the white gouache to any of the other tiles. And then when we're done, we'll be able to see, hopefully, the sort of transformation from marker at its flattest all the way over here to the most three-dimensional looking of the five. Let me go ahead and finish this off, and I'll be back with a few final words. Alright, well, you can see that I came back in with a little colored pencil here just to add a bit of darkness to the edge, sort of accentuate the three-dimensionality. Really, I do prefer to have white gouache be the final step, because you want to keep that white nice and clean and not actually accidentally go on top of it. But anyway, that brings my video to a close. I hope you found it useful, that next time you want to do a weathered surface, you can apply some of these principles to your own illustration. But before I go, I want to say thank you to anyone who has supported me by getting my latest book, The Mighty Onion. Very excited to know that we've got a second book in the series on its way next year. Very glad to hear from those of you who have bought it, and will never stop being appreciative, indeed, of all of you who've got any of my books over the years. But let's go ahead and lay down this pencil. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another one real soon.